This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by light heavyweight talent Joshua Buatsi here at the Boxing Booth Gym in London. Josh, always a pleasure to see you. How are you?
Not bad, man. Just came back and the weather's not great. Today's alright actually, but the weather's been bad, man. But other than that, I'm cool. I'm cool.
I was going to say, you've come back and there's a storm, mate.
Yeah. When I was away, a friend of mine kept telling me about this storm, and I said, "Are you sure? Because there's no storm in England." But they said it, and I had to come to view it for myself. But it's all good, man.
Josh, another camp preparing for the same opponent, somebody you know well in Dan Azeez. What's it been like? Has it been frustrating having to go through the same motions, knowing that if all had gone well, if Dan hadn't had that injury, you would have already fought in your half, you'd have come out on top, and you would be then looking onwards and upwards and starting 2024, looking at that world scene?
Yeah, of course, it was a frustrating period, but it's something that I've moved on from. I think it was like three months ago, so I've kind of moved on from that, and happy that it was rescheduled and we're less than 2 weeks away. So that sense is cool.
In that time, Josh, what do you feel like you've learned additionally about Dan? I mean, I know you know him very well anyway, but what more do you feel like you had to learn in that time?
In what sense?
Just in terms of studying him, how you can go about delivering your game plan. Did it change at all throughout camp?
It was more about myself improving. Yeah, just improving myself really.
Somebody, Josh, who do you look at your opponent? Do you look at them and think that's their weaknesses that you want to exploit, or is it more so just focusing on yourself?
Yeah, more so self improvement, what I can do better, what I can do more of, what will be more useful in this fight. So yeah, more about myself really.
One of the things heading into this fight has obviously been the talk about the activity. Dan's been very active, you yourself not necessarily as much so. Is that a concern for you at all? I was looking earlier, 4 fights in the last 3 years, so I imagine you'd have preferred to have been far busier than that.
Is it a concern? No. I've always stayed in the gym, so I think, of course it's different fighting and being in the gym, but I've always made sure I've stayed in the gym. I've had 2 camps and obviously it didn't materialize to anything, but I've stayed in the gym, man, and every time I've gone in the ring, I've shown that whether I've had a layoff or not, I'm there to win and I come out on top.
Generally, when I've watched you, Josh, when you've seen your opponent hurt, you're quite a spiteful finisher, you'll take advantage of that. When you look at Dan Azeez, do you feel like that opportunity will present itself next week? Do you feel like there's definitely gaps there in his defence there you'll exploit and it could end within the distance?
Yeah, there's 12 rounds for that to happen. At some point, it will show up. If it shows up, I'll take it. But we got 12 rounds.
Is this the toughest test of your career so far?
It's my biggest right now. It's the next one. We know what's at stake. Yeah.
The one which gets the juices flowing the most so far then?
Say that again?
The one that gets the juices flowing the most?
Yeah, currently, yeah. It's what's next, man. Yeah, I'd say that.
Is it hard not to look at what's next? Because obviously we've just had Artur Beterbiev defeat Callum Smith. We know there's the talk about the undisputed bout. It could well be possible that if that takes place next, some of those titles become vacant and you're perfectly placed to try and fight for at least one of those. Is it difficult not to look at within this next 12 months you could finally get your crack at a world honours?
Yeah, I think, of course, I'm aware of it, but like you said, the focus mainly is next Saturday. And you can't kind of take your eye off that and think about what's happening after. It's to get this one out of the way and then sit down and see what's next.
Josh, I don't know if it's been much of a distraction at all. Obviously, in the last week or so, there's been a couple of articles come out from the Times talking about you leaving Matchroom and DAZN and teaming up with Sky and Boxer and whether or not contractually you was allowed to in the ongoing legal battle. What have you made of seeing that? Has it been a distraction?
I haven't read too much into it, but I think mainly this is a legal battle that's going on, and it's legal. There's not much for me to really say about it. Of course, there's a legal back and forth between the two. So my focus, as you know, is February the 1st, so there's not much for me to say really.
The only other thing around it all is the article names Mazhar Majeed and he's been linked to working with yourself. What is, if at all, the working relationship between yourselves, or is there no working relationship?
I think with that, yeah, it's like we've all got friends and we've all got people that we know. I've been self-managed since I left 258, I don't know when, maybe like 3 years ago, something like that. So I've been self-managed myself for that long. And Maz is someone that I know. I know a lot of people. We're all from Croydon, aren't we?
So has he been helping you out in that sense away from?
Being self-managed.
Josh, just moving forwards again, like as you mentioned, some of those world title scene. Beterbiev Smith. What did you make of Arter's victory against Callum?
It's good, bro. Can't lie to you, man. I had Smith to win, to be fair, but yeah, Beterbiev, he showed up. Yeah, he didn't show any sign of aging. It was a very good performance.
How much of a surprise was that to you? Because you mentioned the word ageing there. A lot of people thought after the Anthony Yarde fight that he showed signs of that, and yet against Callum seems to be even stronger now. How much of a surprise is it to see him continuing to progress in the manner that he has?
Yeah, I think against the Yard fight, I was like, okay, maybe getting a bit old. But you're right, against the Smith, there was no sign of that. He came out, started strong straight away, and kept it like that. But most importantly, there was technique to what he was doing. There's a strategy to what he was doing. And of course, with the power that he's got, he got the result that he was looking for.
So let's talk about undisputed bout. Who do you favour now, Arter Beterbiev or Dimitri Bivol?
I just say Beterbiev just because that fight was 2 weeks ago. It's fresh on my head. Yeah, that's what I'd say. And Bivol boxed Lyndon Arthur, But I'd say Beterbiev solely because we saw that fight not too long ago.
You watched Bivol live in Abu Dhabi. How much does that stick to your mind? How much do you remember that fight and you think, I would do this, I would do that, and you just replay it, not necessarily all the time, but just think about what you would do if you were sharing a ring with him?
Yeah, Andy, like we're sat here on our comfortable chairs doing the interview. It's very easy to speak. So you're right. When I sat there, I had a lot of things going on in my head, but I was like, bro, you're sat here watching someone fight. It's easy to talk on the outside. But one thing I do remember from that fight, it was against Ramirez. He's got great feet. That's one thing I do remember. So it's not a fight that I'm like, I'll go in there and do this and do that. He's got great feet. But again, it's a fight that if put in front of me, I'm not gonna not count on myself, So good fighter though. Yeah, great feet.
You had the chance, Josh. You fight the winner of Beterbiev Bivol for undisputed, or you get that big Anthony Yarde fight in London, sell out the O2, the fight everybody in the UK's wanted. Might not be aligned with your world title goals, but would it be difficult to choose?
It would be difficult to choose, yeah. But understandably, I haven't had that title shot yet, so I'd say I'd lean more towards that. I hear what you're saying. I saw that London fight with another fighter from the area, but yeah, I'd say that I haven't had that chance yet, so I'll take that one first.
Line me up your perfect 2024, Josh.
Get this one out of the way with Dan. See what happens with the belts, if they do unify or if they don't. But it would be me having a shot at gold, winning, and then the Yard fight this year as well. I'd like that to happen this year as well. Just being active, being in the fights that I want to be in and that people want to see as well.
Is that something, as you mentioned, becoming self-managed, you're putting more pressure on, trying to make sure you get those fights that you really want now?
For sure, man. With the rankings that I've got, it's in a good position. So I don't see why not these fights won't happen. Of course, we know it's not that simple. If you want to fight someone, it happens. But I hope there can be some movement on it.
Just a couple to end on some upcoming fights. Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk. I know I'm not the first to ask you about that, but that undisputed heavyweight title bout, what's your thoughts on it?
I got Fury to win. I think after his last performance against Ngannou, a lot of people are forgetting what he can do. So for me, I still got Fury to win. Yeah, I got Fury to win, man.
Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou.
I back Joshua all the time. And that's me not even thinking about who he's fighting, what they can do. If you almost say Joshua versus this person, I'm going to say Joshua all the time. But Ngannou's good though. I can't lie to you, he's very good.
Is that still a good relationship between you and AJ? Obviously, even though you're not with 258 anymore, you still got a good relationship with him?
Yeah, I'm sure if I have something to ask him and I text him, he hit me back up. But you're right, I've kind of moved away from that. But I got nothing against... Bro, I'll be honest with you, in the boxing game now, there's nothing that I have against anyone that will stop me from reaching out to them or not. If I haven't reached out, it's just because I have nothing to say. You feel me?
Just a final one which has divided opinion as to who people think will win. Joseph Parker and Zhang.
Bloody yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. I think, do you know what? I was very impressed with Parker against Wilder because yeah, people are saying it wasn't the same Wilder, but bro, if you blinked once and that right hand landed, it'd be nuts. It'd be nuts. But I think I've got. It's a hard one, bro. I'm gonna say gun to my head. I'm gonna say No, I think bro. I'm gonna say Parker. Yeah, I'm gonna say Parker. But when the interview finishes, I'm gonna change my answer. But I'm gonna say Parker for now.
I was gonna say, Josh, I'll see you at a press conference next week, and you'll change your mind.
Yeah, probably, bro. Probably.
Listen, Josh, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Obviously, enjoy the remainder of this camp, and I'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Nice, bro.